It is the holiday season once again. Happy holidays, everybody. I know you're all thinking about gifts to buy for your family, for your friends, but have you ever thought about giving the gift of your photos? I'm talking, of course, about printing. Yes, printing. Remember, it's that thing that we used to do with our photos before Instagram, before social media, before Photoshop and Lightroom. Yeah, it's kind of become a lost art within photography, kind of a forgotten thing, but I am here to tell you that it is still important. It's still a great way to show off your work, to showcase your photos, and it still does have a place in photography. Now, make sure you stick around to the end of this video. I am giving away cash for you guys to print out your own work for the holiday season and some discount codes if you are looking to order some prints as gifts for people. So more on that coming at the end of the video. Now, don't get it twisted here. I love social media. I love that it provides a platform for us as photographers to post our stuff out into the world, and all of the advances in digital photography are great for photography. You have to pay attention and embrace them in order to stay relevant in the game. But if you take a step back, printing your photos onto a physical piece of paper and going through that process is really, really great for us as photographers, and there are a couple reasons why. You know, you kind of notice every single detail on a physical print, whether it's the areas of the photo that need to be color corrected, either lighter or darker, or certain things that just don't look as sharp. And I think you kind of start to see ways you would have shot the photo differently when you actually see it laid out on a physical piece of paper, either in a frame or up on the wall. And number two, it's kind of like that final last step in your photography process. Think about it. You go out, you take all these really nice photos, you come back, you're excited to import them into your computer, you do a really nice crop and tone and sharpen in Photoshop or Lightroom, you airdrop them over to your phone, you post them on Instagram and Twitter, they get a bunch of likes, a bunch of double taps, and then you kind of forget about it for a while. It just becomes another one of your posts. It becomes kind of part of your digital past, your digital history. And there's something special about when you actually put it down to paper. It becomes something that you can revisit time and time again. And to show you what I'm actually talking about, I'm gonna take you guys over to my home away from home, Fenway Park, Boston's coolest living museum, to really show you some examples of what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna start right here at my desk in the office. This is what it looks like, nothing fancy. But as you can see right behind me, we have this really beautiful wall of prints. And this is kind of a montage of beauty shots of Fenway Park. We've got some texture shots of the ballpark, some detail shots, and just some general beauty shots. So this is a really nice creative way to display your prints in a way that kind of has a gallery feel. And by the way, the prints don't always have to be anything fancy, any sort of fancy enlargement or fancy mat or frame. Like for example, I just have these quick 8x12 prints hanging right by my desk area, and it just kind of brings a little bit more life to the desk area. So remember, it doesn't always need to be something big, something expensive. Even just a little quick printout can really change a space. So again, I think prints are a really nice way to show photos that have a lot of detail, a lot of layers, a lot of composition, a lot of things to look at. And this is a perfect example. This is an overall shot of the stadium from Game 1 of the 2018 World Series at home. This was taken with a remote. But I love that you can just go in and find all of these little details. You can spend hours looking at this photo and just seeing something different every single time. For example, here's a nice little detail right here. That's me. All right, remember how I talked about how you notice things in print that you would never notice on a digital screen? Well, this display right here is a perfect example. Check this out. This is the winning moment from all 4 of the Red Sox World Series championships. And you'll notice right here, if you're looking at them, all 4 of these poses, these celebrations, are pretty much exactly the same. The pitcher jumping into the arms of the catcher or vice versa. And that's just a connection that I don't think I would notice if I was just looking at these photos on a digital screen. But when you see them printed out next to each other like this, it becomes so obvious. So that's the beauty about prints, is that you see things that you don't normally see when you're just staring at the screen. You kind of gloss over. Sports Illustrated, through the years, all the Red Sox covers, we got a lot of them over the history of the Red Sox, over the history of the magazine. All right, check it out. This is a print wall from every concert or some of the major concerts that have happened at Fenway. You're recognizing the pattern here of using prints to tell the story of photos across time, but with a similar theme, a similar subject matter. We are big on collections here and printing out collections. So what you're looking at right here is every cover of the Red Sox official yearbook since 1951 all the way through now. So another great advantage of printing, if you want to show a series of work that you've done over the course of time, printing can be a really good way to display that work that you've done over time in a really logical, organized, beautiful, fun to look at way. Now, don't let me fool you. I am not the expert when it comes to printing out photos, but pretty much everything that you just saw over at Fenway Park was printed by a true expert, by a true pro. So I wanted to take this chance to introduce you to Asadorian. Alan is the director of photo imaging services at Hunt's Photo and Video, which is New England's top photo and video retailer. And he has been the official printer of all of our in-park print requests for Fenway Park and the Boston Red Sox over the past decade, really since the digital photography era began. So I wanted to take this chance to bring Alan onto the channel and give you guys some tips, some tricks, some pointers about how to get the best results for printing your photos. So Alan, welcome on board to the channel. I feel like every time I'm talking to you, I'm asking you to print something out for us at the Red Sox, so it's nice to be actually able to sit down and talk to you for a little bit. Thanks for coming on.
Well, it's actually an honor to be the Red Sox photo printer and to work with you closely and to provide you with the services that are necessary.
Why do you think printing photos still is so special? What is so special about the medium of print, and why is it important for photographers to still do this in this kind of digital all-screen era that we're living in?
There are iconic images, and those are the ones that typically get printed. If you go into an office today, there may be a screen that may be talking about some service, but there's a lot of pictures that are hanging. And that applies to homes where you'd walk in and you see a family group. You don't want to see that on a screen all the time. You want to see a nice picture. Everybody's smiling. It's the right picture. And those are what we call iconic images. So it could be on a personal level, it could be on a commercial level. But yeah, we're still doing lots of printing. And there were naysayers who said, oh, all those things are going to go away. We're actually breaking records with the number of prints that we actually do.
With the printing, what are the options that people have? I know there's all different types of prints as far as canvas, inkjet, lambda. What are the different options for people?
Well, when an inkjet came in, it was a bunch of dots and they really looked bad. And then as it got to really good, it started to be called giglet. Well, giglet is a French word and it means inkjet. So for the professionals, they had a new name for it. And it has become the only way you can actually get a fine art print on a textured surface, because it can't be something that goes through a chemical. It's something that has to go through an ink process and dry. So the canvas is printed as a giglet because it's done with ink. So the real breakdown is, can it be put through a chemical process, or does it have something that's laid down on a surface?
And so if you're somebody at home who's looking to print something, maybe a family portrait, maybe one of your favorite photos that you've taken, when would you go with the canvas print? In what situation would you use the canvas option?
The surface itself is textured, and that's another plus and minus. The minus part is it takes away detail. Plus is it looks like a painting, and that's what would distinguish between how we would make a decision on what surface we would want.
Got it. So it's kind of a stylistic choice, I guess, in the photographer's position, whether they want that kind of painted, more artistic look. Maybe canvas is the best option, but if they are going for the super realistic, super detailed option, maybe a lambda or an inkjet is a better way to go.
Yes, there is overlap between the use of the inkjet print and the lambda print, because very few people can afford to go out and buy a lambda machine. It's very expensive. It has fabulous reproduction, but you can go out and spend relatively speaking, a small amount of money and get an inkjet printer that will do a very, I'm not going to use the word professional, but a very satisfactory result for the homeowner, and let's just say the photographer who is working out of his house and can't afford a commercial service, he has an option today.
Do you have any tips for preparing those files to be printed, as far as resolution, cropping, aspect ratio? How do those things come into play, and what do you generally suggest for people to maximize the quality of the print?
The most important thing is you have a digital file, put it in a safe place. Don't alter the digital file, copy it. It's one of the biggest advantages to digital photography is that you have an original image. You can save that image, and that becomes your iconic start point. And then on your copy, you can do things that you will test your skill or how you want it to look. And all of those are available, but you don't want to not be able to get back to the original, because you could spend hours and hours doing something and say, gee, I really don't like the way this looks. But then you're stuck if you didn't have an original copy to go back to.
For the listeners, this is a super important point, and this is something that I have always stressed as far as the ingesting process, the editing process. You always want to save the original file of the straight out of camera image that you shot somewhere in a safe place that's going to go pretty much untouched. As Alan, you mentioned, you can duplicate that file all you want, but you always want to keep in a separate location that original untouched, whether it's a RAW or JPEG file, right?
Key word there was safe place. That's all I can say.
And is there a certain resolution that the photos need to be at in order to develop a really high quality print?
The ink prints generally are 300 dpi. The Lambda print is a 254, but the Lambda print uses a very different technology to print, which is why the resolution is different. Generally, if you have a 600 dpi at 1:1 or something, and you put it into an inkjet, it's going to basically just sort of not throw them away, but it's going to not use all that resolution. So you need to know how big you potentially want to make your image, and that's a tough one to answer. Is it going to eventually be a 30-40, a wallet? So there's big range in there. So make it as big as you're comfortable working with. That way you always have kept your options open.
Tell us about the Hunts Lab. You've been there for a long time now. You offer all different types of services. What are the kind of services you offer? What are the types of things that people can come to you guys to get done?
It's a broad range of product. Customers can literally walk in the front door and walk up to a kiosk and make a print. You got a thumb drive or an SD card or something, you just plug it in, you make a print. You can opt for having it made right there on the machine, or you can send it over to the lab, and the lab will make a print, which of course puts eyes on, which will make a better print. Consumers are very happy with that kind of work. On the website, there's a place where you can send your file in. You don't have to come in. But there are fussy photographers also who really want to have us look at what they're doing and what their options are. So by appointment, somebody can come in and put their file onto our system, and we'll talk about it. And we'll talk about cropping and all the things that we can do to improve the image, working with the customer's expectation. But there are lots of online services. There are very few places to go and put your hands on equipment or get the service that we are offering in the printing environment.
Heard it here from the expert, Alan. Thanks so much for your time.
A pleasure. Thank you.
And now for the fun part. As promised, I am giving away stuff because that's what I like to do on this channel. So for the holiday season, I am giving away 3 $50 gift cards to the print lab at Hunts Photo and Video. So this is gonna come in super clutch if you're looking to print out some of your own photos towards the holidays, or if you're looking for gifts for other people, if you wanna print out some of your photos to gift to other people. So this is for the subscribers. All you have to do is leave a comment down below, and the comment has to have 2 things. One, it has to tell me about a photo that you have that you want to get printed. Tell me about the photo, what the photo is, where you took it, give me the story behind it, and then also tell me why you want it printed. Why is it that photo that you want printed above all other photos? So all you have to do is leave a comment with 2 things: which photo you want to get printed and why you want to get it printed. Now I'm only going to choose 3 winners, but don't worry, we're still spreading the love for everybody around here. It is the holiday season, and that's what we do here on this channel. So Hunts is also serving up a 20% off discount code for any print order that you make on huntspicks.com. So all you have to do is go to huntspicks.com, check out with your order. Make sure you order whatever you want for the holiday season. You will get them in time for the holidays. You will get beautiful, professional, high quality results. I can personally guarantee you of that. And when you check out, just enter the discount code Billie20, that's Billie20, and you will get 20% off your print order. So make sure you take advantage of these offers, take advantage of these deals, and think about how you want to print your work, how you want to showcase it off to the world. And if you have any questions, as always, please leave them down in the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. Any suggestions, anything you want to talk about, I'm all ears as always. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and please subscribe to the channel. We are pushing on with more content at the end of 2020 here and into the 2021 new year. So make sure you subscribe. I appreciate all the support. And think about your photos, guys. Think about printing them out. Remember, printing is still pretty cool.